Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth,
And I'm Coach Victoria.
and in this video we're going to be talking to you about what if my ex doesn't want to get back together.
So something that can be really tough and could happen.
Absolutely. One of the hardest things that we might have to face is that our ex might not want to give things another chance. And some of you may feel really awful about that. Some of you in time will think, you know what, that may be for the best. Our relationship wasn't healthy. And there's everything on the spectrum in between.
Right. And sometimes somebody doesn't want to repair things. So you have that fear of losing them for good. You know, it can feel really concrete. What if they don't? And it might be a question that's cycling through your mind a lot during this breakup.
Yeah. You know, what I have seen for many years now is that our belief about the outcome is going to have a huge impact on how we act in no contact. I have seen countless times that people who believe their ex is going to come back are far more motivated on the personal growth than the people that aren't or that don't think their ex is going to come back. Now, maybe that's partially because those people are depressed and they don't have the motivation or the energy to work on themselves. But I really like to have the mindset of how would you act? What would you do? How are you going to stay motivated in no contact if you believe you'll get one more chance? Okay? Now, not all of you will get one more chance, but if you have this mindset of, okay, I'm going to get another opportunity, how prepared do you want to be? Okay? Some of you are realistic in how much growth you need to make. Some of you guys kind of don't want to accept responsibility for how you showed up and put a lot of blame on your partner. But I really believe that you have to be accountable. I think to have a healthy relationship, you have to be accountable within yourself and how you showed up and honest with yourself about that.
Right. And this can be tough because many of you do end up giving up not only on the relationship, but also on yourselves during a breakup. And this can be challenging because you have that feeling of being lost. Sometimes you don't really know what's going to happen next. You can feel really anxious and on edge. Or like Craig said, some of you are depressed. You just feel completely depleted from the experience of the breakup. And you can have this fear that your ex doesn't want to get back with you. So you kind of have that thought of, well, what's the point? Why should I even try? Why should I even care? You know, and you can see this reflected in some of the comments on our videos where people just have that kind of bleak mindset just of the future in general and of relationships. And so you start to think, well, everything I did here was in vain. I'm here to tell you it's not. You know, that inner work, it doesn't just go away once a breakup happens, or it doesn't just go away if your ex doesn't want to get back with you. Those things are things that stick with you for life, which is why we love talking about this kind of work. It's stuff that will probably impact not only your generation, the generations, you know, beyond you, and so on and so forth. So I know I'm speaking like a motivational speaker right now, but I mean it. You know, that inner work does stay and stick with you, and it's meaningful.
It really changes how confident you feel inside. And in many ways, you will stop letting your anxiety blindly control you. Many of us have our anxiety controlling our life and we're not even aware of it. That when we get that anxiety builds up, instead of soothing ourselves, we give into it. We give into sending that text message that breaks no contact. We give into showing up at their place. These little things make a huge difference in re-attracting somebody. But it also has to do with how we show up in a relationship, where if somebody takes a little while to get back with you, you don't double text or triple text. It makes people lose attraction for you. This is why you have to do the work and get to a confident, secure place within yourself.
Right. And so that in that case, you know, you're less impacted by if your ex says, you know what, this isn't going to work, and you don't hear from them again. You know, we can't say that this is not a possibility. We talk all about repairing relationships. Of course, we talk about strategies to repair a relationship the best and to make that more likely. However, you know, there are cases where an ex might not.
We just can't know for certain what's going to happen in the future. And quite honestly, your ex probably doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. They probably feel different ways about the breakup week to week, day to day, hour to hour, depending upon the situation. I mean, exes are going through a roller coaster of emotions too. They're just not going to show it to you, because if they let down that guard and say, I don't know, sometimes I think about fixing things. Are you going to leave them alone? Probably not. You're going to bombard them. You're going to show up at their house. You're going to show up at their gym. You're going to show up there at the gym in their house, the gym in the apartment complex. You're going to show up everywhere. And so exes are very guarded about the struggle that they're going through. However, and how many times do we see this? You know what I'm going to say here. When they finally do reach out, if you keep your mouth closed, they start to tell you, I thought about you every day. I looked at your social media accounts all the time. I stopped by your mom's work just to see her car. All these things that they were thinking and feeling, they tell you they were going through it. We hear it all the time. But until they're ready to come back, they're going to be very guarded about their interest level. They're going to hide it.
Right. So your ex is going through a lot of different thoughts and feelings that you may not know about, you may know about one day, but in the case that they don't, in the case that you never get to have that conversation and they tell you what things were like during the breakup, we can't force it. We can't force somebody to love us. We can't force somebody to see our value and what we bring to a relationship, but we can get ourselves to that place where we see our own value. So we definitely don't want anybody to put their life on hold for an ex. This is something we talk about often, right? We're not saying that in 100% of the cases, every ex will come back, especially if they're married or especially if, they got something else going on in their life. But this whole situation is about...
Although we have seen married ones. We have seen married ones come back.
We have seen that. It's very interesting.
Married, other family, and they're still thinking about you.
Yeah.
In fact, I see that a lot.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. There should be a whole case study on that. But this is about dealing with uncertainty. So the bigger picture here is the more secure we are in ourselves, the better we can handle whatever comes next, whether that is your ex coming back, whether that's your ex not coming back, and still being open to the opportunity of love and things that are out there for you. So not an easy answer, definitely much easier said than done type of deal. However, we want you to get to that place where you can feel confident and hopeful for the future and have it not depend on one person.
We have tried to give you many, many resources to help you get to a place where you can handle whatever comes your way. We want you to be able to adapt and to find happiness in this life, whether it's with somebody coming back or if you have to move on. We can't control people, okay? And there's no magical text back formula or clean slate message that's going to wipe away all the negatives that happen, or a handwritten letter that it magically solves all the problems that happen in that relationship. It doesn't work like that. But we can hold ourselves accountable, want to be the best version of ourselves, learn to handle uncertainty with confidence, and learn to be a great partner or focus on being a better partner. And some of you may have been great partners, but many of us have to take a look in the mirror and work on those flaws, work on those areas that we struggled.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And remind yourself that it's going to be okay. This is a really hard thing to kind of even think about sometimes. Many of you might have clicked on this video just with that fear. Your finger might have been shaking on the mouse when you clicked on it. It can be a really scary thing to think your ex decides to never reconsider this. However, it will be okay and you will be okay. And it's important to remind yourself and be able to self-soothe yourself through that if that's the case. We don't want to jump to conclusions either. Like I said, our channel is all about repairing relationships, so we don't want to say, oh, they haven't responded back in 2 days, they're gone forever, right? But our point here is to say you're going to be okay no matter the outcome.
And just to remind you again, just because you haven't heard from them yet does not mean that they won't come back. It just means that they're not ready right now, okay? Now, they may not come back, but we want to get you to a place where you're okay one way or the other. And if you go look at the catalog of our 2,000 plus videos, you will see that there's a lot of amazing content far beyond no contact. Unfortunately, many of you guys are so stuck in no contact videos that you don't learn the skills that are going to make you a more confident, attractive person with your behavior. So please, I implore you, when you see a video that has a low amount of views, that's probably the one you should be watching. Because it's how to make your partner feel loved. No, I'm not going to do that.
I don't think I've ever heard you say implore before. This is important.
It is. I want to see them successful. But they're watching no contact video after no contact video, and then they don't watch how to communicate effectively, or 3 ways to be more charismatic. I think we just released that one, right?
Yeah.
Gotta watch those videos, guys. I promise you, those are the things that make the big difference when your ex comes back. Because if you're only watching no contact videos, what are you going to be prepared for when they finally reach out? Or if you start hanging out with them again, how are you going to be any different?
Right.
So I always try and get you guys to see that so you're successful.
I like it.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls now.
Woo.
We're doing Zoom calls now. So you can get a Zoom call with me or with Coach Victoria. Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her.
I'll be here.
That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk to you Zoom.